Well, good morning, everyone. It's the 5th of March. It's 3 degrees here in Les Arbres. Bit of a grey day, but some sun as well. And hope you're having a great weekend. It's Sunday. We're going to take a bit of time. And so, interesting looking at the leaderboard. We'll go through, not the leaderboard, rather the map, which is there. But before we get into that, show in stream. Okay, sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button and you lost my audio. I meant to press this button. Anyway, morning. Good news for yesterday was Ayrton. Ayrton's going to go around the world again, which is kind of fun in the mini globe race. So that was cool. And keep plugging that song. Keep plugging Kirsten's song if you haven't heard it. I actually forget sometimes that the YouTube followers, we have about 3,500 YouTube followers come on and check the tracker each day. Don't access Facebook, obviously, and so you're not seeing what's on Facebook. But a few people put the link up for Kirsten's amazing song from Lenny there, which is really cool. And if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, if you're just watching it, please subscribe. We love seeing the subscription numbers go up, and love seeing your comments. I usually get back to YouTube stuff. Within a day or something, and try and answer questions there. So if you've got any questions, and it's Sunday, so we can afford to slow down a bit, and I'll come back to questions here on Facebook once I've finished the tracker. Rather than sign off, I'll come back and I can see the comments down the side here in Facebook, so I can answer your questions directly when it goes. So anyway, back to the tracker here. I just got to get on here. And interesting, wow, look at Sir Robert Knox-Johnson. He wouldn't want to be up there right now, but he's slowly keeping up with the fleet. But check out the wind, solid easterlies. And in fact, when he was over here, if you remember his book, you'll see he got caught up in some headwinds and kept going up and up and up into the Pacific, and then realised, no wonder I'm getting these southeasterlies on the wrong side of the high, and he came back down. But this is a bit vicious, and there's a couple of cyclones up here as well. They can play havoc, or that's probably a depression, not the cyclone now, but they come down and so on. So anyway, it shouldn't have much of an effect on Guy's down here somewhere. Coming across, but sometimes they can come all the way down and play tricks. But that's the influencing factor now. Big high pressure system sitting here, and it's then actually pushing Ian with this southwesterly now, so he'll be happy with that. If I pick this up, you'll see he's aimed right at the corner. I forgot to give a bit of an overview there, but on the whole map, before I get into the detail, which I'll do now because there's some fun things happening. Kirsten's just about given up, going back to Cape Town. Not going very fast, about half a knot or something, but we'll get into that. Jean-Luc, however, who has got his track here from the previous 2018 edition of the GGR, he's already crossed over the equator, and see there's virtually no doldrums here at all. That saves time. And let's see what happens with Abolition Kirsten by the time they get up there. But right now, there is no doldrums. And so you come along here with this southeasterly trades, which are starting to develop now, which is kind of nice. You see there's a bit of a high pressure system, or this one's driving it, and this one that Kirsten's trapped in is trying to work out now what's going on. But anyway, it's forming. And remember, it's northeasterly here as it rolls over, depending on where the center of that high is. But going up here, just straight across, and this is the area where you've got more windward work. This northeasterly trades is well established, virtually every season, and this is something that is going to be challenging for Kirsten when she gets here, because Kirsten's boat, beautiful boat, it doesn't go to windward as well as Abolish. So this is what we're talking about. She needs to have a big break by the time she gets through the doldrums and on the other side. And just for a quick sneak peek, here's Les Arbres d'Along. That's where they're going. And at the moment, this early in the season, you can still get some big solid winds and so on. So anyway, let's just come back down here, and we will go over here, and we'll talk about tail enders first. Certainly Simon and Goog are having fun. They got good breezes and so on. But there's a bit happening with Jeremy and Ian right now. So we'll focus on that. So Ian, as we said, the position just rolled over to 8 o'clock. He's doing 100. He did 121 nautical miles in the day, pretty much straight line on the run line. He'll be happy with that, and he's doing 5.7 knots at the moment, and he's on the edge of this this system right here. And Jeremy is just coming under the influence of that. We've put him on a weather alert, right? Even though it's not going to get extreme, because the gusts are going to be high. Check this out on Windy. But fortunately, this is going to roll straight over the top of him, and he's just going to be on the very edge of it. And it's not a huge storm, but it's plenty of breeze in the gusts. It's only going to blow about 30 knots forecast, but it'll be gusting to 45. So I'm going to scan this back a little bit now so you can see what's happening as we toggle it forward. So right now, Jeremy is doing 5.3 knots, and he did 122 nautical miles in the day. And we'll now roll this over so you can watch. I think you should be able to see that reasonably well. I like going the bigger scale here because you can see the whole of the weather system rather than come in tight, so you get a good look of exactly what's happening in their areas. But this is a better view, I believe, because someone said, "Oh, it's a bit too small, we can't see it." But it's good to see the weather all around them as we toggle it through. So every movement now is an hour. 3, 4, 5, 6 hours time. You can see the majority of that wind is just rolling over the top of him. But right at this point, that's where the sea can get quite demanding because you have a sudden wind shift, and it's been established from the northwest here for quite a few hours, and then it's going to swing basically 90 degrees. And when that happens for up to 4 or 5 hours, you can actually get quite a challenging sea. So the wave heights there, he's into 5s and 6s there, based on just to remind you, there is a scale of color down the bottom here. And when you get into that area there, it's certainly going to 6, maybe 5, 6s, and the shape is going to change. So that's the challenge for Jeremy. I'm giving a little bit more of an extended explanation this morning because it's Sunday. Most people will be asleep. But anyway, so that's 6 hours from now, so later tonight. And then he's going to come into this solid southwesterly airflow. And as I say, it'll take a few hours for the sea to settle down. So he'll be monitoring that. And then it continues then to gust. It's 30 knot forecast, 31, gusting up to 45. And that's going to last through, here we come in, he's just coming up to 24 hours. So that's 24 hours from now. Okay. And then you can see Ian through all of that has got a pretty nice southwesterly breeze. He's just holding southwest all the way. So Ian's going to make 150-mile days, or if he doesn't, there's something wrong. But anyway, we'll see. And he's going to clip the corner there. He'll just be out of the zone, and he can keep coming. Now, this next one coming down with Jeremy, this is 24 hours out. It should also roll just over him because this is now nearly a day and a half, and he should be making 120 miles in a day. So he should be at least 150, 160 miles ahead. So there he is there. He's going to be down around about this position underneath it. And so it shouldn't be too bad. I'll get rid of that now and click this and keep rolling. So Jeremy's position will be about where the cursor is now. And so it rolls over the top of him, just clipped on the edge, and that's not too bad. He'll get a bit of a puff there, but it's so quick, only goes for an hour or so. The sea will be very confused, though, because you can see, even though he's in the light zone, the wind is rolling around completely. Just before it goes in, he's got a northwesterly, right? You can see it's, in fact, I'll build this up a bit now so you get a better look. So Jeremy will be down around by the cursor here. I think I've got to press that again. He'll be down around here somewhere. So starts off with a northwesterly, and then it quickly rolls through to a westerly, just literally within an hour. The wind drops off, and when there's no wind but there's sea, that's also not good because the sea just rolls over and flops around. You're better off to have a constant breeze in a big sea because it sort of tends to hold the waves up. And then it's going to go around to close to the south, or there's a bit of southeast in it. And so again, this will be a really uncomfortable sea, quite demanding. He's going to, the boat will be all over the place. The sea will be all over. Let's just have a look and see what the size is here. Still big sea. So that's going to be demanding for him. but not big winds, but very challenging sea state. And he'll have to stay on the ball there. So that's coming out to 2 days away. Okay, so on the second day, he's going to have very confused seas and quite a bit to do. So we'll hope he gets through that lot okay. All right, just getting back to the big picture, I want to show you what's coming, because there is a major blow coming, and it's going to meet up with him as he progresses towards Cape Horn. So again, Ian is okay. That's 2 days out. Ian's got good sailing. By then, 2 days out, he's going to be down around here somewhere. So I'm going to keep toggling this. I haven't said anything to Jeremy yet. He's probably getting forecasts from Passage Weather, but it's still Passage Guardian, the radio station, Pete over there in New Zealand. But there's a bit of a blow coming. So this is rolling through to the 7th. It's going to impact on about the 10th. There's something coming through on the 8th. So, but that one goes through. That's just like a mild puff, but it's building up. So that'll certainly keep him. In fact, we'll show you roughly where he is. So this is on the 8th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So 3 days. 3.5 days is going to be about about 400 and something miles. So by that stage, he's going to be around about here somewhere. So I'll get rid of that, put him there, and you can see when this comes over. Oh, I got to press that again. When this comes over, he's going to be getting a solid puff there of 30, 35, gusting maybe 45 again, seas building, moving around, but then over into the west here, this is the big one. Now, by that stage, Jeremy's going to be down around here somewhere. It's coming through the 9th, and then it forms up. It's just getting more and more intense, and it's still a long way out. In fact, that's changed. Actually, that's very interesting, because it's changed already from yesterday. It's formed into 2, but that's quite a bit of breeze going. Oh, that's a good sign. Okay. That's good to see. So what's happened since the bit of yesterday, the whole system, the center of this system here, has actually moved further south, because yesterday it was up a lot higher and it was going right over the top. So if that continues to do that, he may be lucky, because it's going to go under him. But yesterday it was going right over the top of him, and it was showing 50s and 60s and big seas and actually going for quite a long time. But all the action there is below the latitude of Cape Horn. So what I might do tomorrow is give him some routing information and suggest that he doesn't go down lower than the latitude of Cape Horn, and let's hope that one keeps going down. I'm happy to see that. Okay, so that's all cool. He might be lucky. You never know. This is the GGR. Anyway, there's enough of that going on there. Let's have a look at, we'll pull this back, have a look at the race to the top for Simon and Captain Goog. Oh, before I get there, people are always interested in the distances. So right now, Jeremy is about 1,000 miles from Cape Horn. Again, keep your fingers, keep your fingers crossed for him. Okay. And just to go the other way, Captain Goog's now moved out. He's 830 miles from Cape Horn. Okay. So that's not too bad. And in terms of Rumline, if we Rumline sailing, the distances that Simon and Goog are at, that's probably a fair enough representation. So Goog's 140 miles behind Simon, or if you're a Simon fan, Simon is 142 miles ahead of Goog, and the weather doesn't look too bad there right now. Pleasant sailing, and Goog was happy. He's celebrating 6 months at sea, and he's still on board and still happy, and the boat's going really well. No dramatic news from Simon. I just know he's sailing really fast. He wants to get right up there and catch up to get away from Goog and catch up to Abolish and Kirsten, which could be a bit of fun to watch, because he's very light relatively, as you know, and very fast. So, he's probably faster to windward than Abolish. Abolish has got some issues on board all the time. He's busy fixing things all the time, whereas Simon's pretty relaxed, and he's still got good sails. He had the benefit of a stopover to replenish on a few things, and he's firing. So he's just racing. which is kind of fun. Okay, so what weather are we going to get for these guys going forward? Let's, how big do we want to put it? I'll drop it back again. I know some people don't like that, but it's good to see the weather all around. Oh, I don't want to show you the weather for Kirsten Abolish yet. That's interesting. so here we go, just toggling through. They've got a nice sou'wester. And then this ridge that we talked about yesterday. Good's going to slow down and stop, and then they come into the headwinds. So the forecast is holding true to what we suggested yesterday. Norwesterly, they'll peel out to the northeast with this. They'll go on port tack, and it's still looking okay. So that's in the next 24 hours. Now we're coming through into the second day, and it starts to increase. Solid nor'wester, so they'll be both heading out northeast and not complaining. At least they've got breeze. So they're now coming out this way, still on track, and it still meets their objective. I think the strategy there is not so as important, really. They don't have a choice. So I wouldn't suggest they're strategizing anything right now. They're just sailing to get up the top somehow. And that's into 2 days away. And 2 days from now, they've probably both made 230 miles or something. So let's see where they are. 230, yeah, they're still under the influence of that. Simon's going to be out about there somewhere. He's going to be in here. So still with that, northwesterly or northwesterly breeze, and they'll still be making out in that direction. So all pretty simple for Simon and Michael. Some people have forgotten that we cancelled the stopover here in Punta del Este in Uruguay. There was going to be a film drop there, but we cancelled that just after all the boats had left Hobart. It wasn't needed now for any of our media, so that's pretty straightforward. Someone else was asking or commenting about what's DTF mean on the leaderboard. Okay, on the leaderboard we have DTF. DTF is distance to the finish. Okay, so there's two. Can I build this up here? No, I can't. No, of course not. I can't make it any bigger, but where you've got these DTF is distance to the finish, and Kirsten's got 4,982 nautical miles distance to the finish, and then underneath that, up here on the top, it says distance sailed. So she sailed 24,032 nautical miles from the start, and it's showing Abolish as 5,240. So that means Kirsten on the leaderboard is about 258. Is that right? 258 miles ahead, technically, than Abolish. And Goog's down there at 6,155 to the finish. So Ian Herbert Jones, and so it goes. So that's what it means, distance to the finish. VMG is vector made good or velocity made good on course. So Kirsten's made 4.8 knots average speed over the previous, excuse me, I think they're pretty sure that's the previous 4 hours towards the finish line in Les Sables d'Olonne. She's certainly not doing that now because she's facing the wrong way. But that's what the vector made good or velocity made good towards the finish. And then here, the finish time, this is an estimate of their arrival in Les Sables d'Olonne based on their current average speed or velocity made good. And just showing Kirsten 17th of April. Ironically, some weeks ago I said 18th of April is when she gets there, but it's very unusual for that to be true because she'll vary in speed. So at the moment, it's looking like the end of the third week of April, and we'll have to wait and see what the doldrums do because that'll slow them down or speed them up. I'm waffling on a bit here because it's Sunday, so boring alert. Boom, boom. Okay, now into the Abolish is okay into the main game here for those that are interested. I better put the weather back to where it really is. Okay. He's tacked. All right. So first of all, Kirsten going nowhere, but she's sped up. She's now doing 1.2 knot average in the last 4 hours. The previous 4 hours, she'd only done about 0.2 of a knot. So she's literally gone nowhere for the last 8 hours. And again, just reminding you that when you see this sort of stuff, it's very hard to predict whether there really is wind here or wind there, because yesterday she was doing 5.6 knots in an area that showed virtually zero wind. So it's hard to do anything, suggesting what happens. She could all of a sudden pick up and start sailing, or she could just sit there. Now, the interesting one is Abolish, because this breeze is absolutely a bit all over the place. And if I blow this up, you can see from his course, He's just tacked over right now. So I would, I've lost him. So I would suggest he's got a bit of a local breeze that might not be in that direction. By the look of that, it's got a bit of a slant here. I'm not sure. Hard to pick it, but he's doing 2.4 knots. So it could be, you can see a little faint little change in color there. That may be positioned right over the top of him or just gone over. But he's been doing as we projected yesterday, heading out towards Kirsten, northeast, because he had quite strong northerly component. At the moment, this breeze over here, when you see this color, is about 25 to 28 knots, gusting maybe a little bit higher. Sea state's probably about 2 meters, maybe a bit more. What do we got here? Blues, 2 meters, probably 1.5 to 2 meters. So he's decided to go over there. I think it's not a tactic, it's just sailing in local weather. So I don't think he's too stressed about being too far out to the east, because that's actually, in my opinion, if you've got to take a choice one way or the other right now, you don't want to get too close inshore too early, because remembering you're going to be faced with these trade winds when you're up the top here, and that's when you can get squeezed. And in fact, I'll put the tracks on here. You can see this blue track here. This was John Luke back in 2018. He absolutely got squeezed. He didn't call into Rio de Janeiro. He got forced into the coast. Something similar to this breeze here, which was the trade winds rolling across and turning around. And he got pushed into the coast and literally to about a mile or so offshore, and had to tack out then for the next day or so to try and get out. And then he's still squeezed in on the coast. So it's not fast sailing. But if you manage to hold out to the east here, once you arrive at these trade winds, even if they're rolling over, you see you've got sea room to keep boat speed and keep going in like this. So Kirsten is actually being further out to the east, in my opinion. If she can break through this compared to Abelish, it gives her a chance to keep the boat speed up. So tactically, it's actually a very good position to be in, a bit further out to the east. Not easy to get there, because this is exactly what's happening. But the unfortunate part is this high pressure system, which is the South Atlantic High, has formed up and broken across, and it's going out to the east here. But this one's still stuck. And this is the unfortunate bit. I think what we'll see, we'll roll it through in a minute, and hopefully that'll form up and then disappear. So Abelish for now has got this general northerly flow, which is on the other side of this strange center of a high, and he's going to be interacting with that for the next day or so. And Kirsten is stuck in the middle of no man's land. So I'm going to pull it back one more time so we can see what's happening as we toggle the weather through. She's still technically in the, ahead of Abelish. I thought Abelish would have been past him by now, but hasn't had the right weather. So that's sailing. And here goes. So 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Okay, there's a gradient of breeze now. So this is 6 or 7 hours from now. And you can see the breeze is actually coming in over the top of that area of no wind. That's a good thing. What's happened, this sounds strange, but the influence of this high here is overcome the, I can't actually show you the isobars. I should put this on windy. But anyway, for now, this has got more of an influence, and has blown the center of that no man's land sort of center of a high into nothing. And now this is the gradient coming across. That's a good thing for Kirsten, because now she's going to get some northwesterly. If she gets that, she's able to keep for a day or so, push across here, and then when she tacks across, she's in a really good position to come out here. So tactically, this could work in her favor. It's actually a pretty interesting development. Let's keep going and see. Hope that nothing else forms. No, it's looking pretty. Yeah, it's pretty clear to me that this is what's happening. She's so far down to the east. She can keep coming out here, riding this. This is now on day, not quite to 24 hours. It's not going to be a long way, but so okay. So there's 24 hours from now, and so in 24 hours she's going to be it's probably only 100 miles. No, not even that. Okay, so it's not a big deal. She's going to be in about the same position. So she's going to be here, but it's a definite light nor'wester. And you can see what Abolish has got. He's got a mixed bag of everything. And I think you'll see him just trying to ride this to the north, but look what's coming. So that's day one. I might just pick this up. You can see the general trend now of what's happening. This gives us a bit of impression now. So you know what's going on. You can see these winds starting to increase. Not a lot there. Ooh, jeepers. We don't want to see that. Okay. Okay. So this is now, that's midnight the next day. Oh, jeepers. Okay. So Kirsten slows down again. That didn't work. And then this is now 2 days ahead. So 2 days ahead, crikeys, it's going crazy. 2 days ahead, Abolish is up here. He's definitely not tacking out that way. He's going to come into this lot, so he's on the squeeze. But Kirsten's in a real mess here, so I forgot that's what we discussed yesterday. I was thinking, oh, maybe she's lucky, but she ain't lucky there. So this is day 3. She's going to be up here, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's a bit hard to predict now. She might be in here somewhere, and Abolish will be riding across. He'll be absolutely coming across here, but he's heading into Jean-Luc's area of complications. Get rid of that. And all right, it's getting a bit hard to predict now what's going on, but this is the 8th. We're coming into 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 days ahead. She's going to start to get breeze. So by then, they'll probably be on similar latitudes, I'd say. Abolish will be up here somewhere. Kirsten will be over here. And she might get a boost, but there's something happening this high underneath her. She's on the top of it. So that's going to give her a southeasterly. And then if we come back, are they going to mold into one trade wind movement? I think it is. Yeah. So these two will probably mold together. Well, we'll just walk it through and see. It's Sunday. Yep. That's what's happening. It looks like she's good. It's still pretty good because she'll be up here riding in an easterly, whereas Abolish will be squeezed here. So, okay, looking pretty good. I think it's probably enough, but all is not lost for Kirsten. That's all I'll say. And all is not lost for Abolish. It's still a boat race. So, okay, I think that's enough for today. Not much more to say other than have a good weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. 27 minutes. Holy dooly.